Choose yourself. If you're making a game right now and you think that the only way you're going to be able to finish it is if a publisher chooses your studio and gives it funding, I'm here to tell you that there's many other ways of finishing your game if you choose yourself. Most of the studios that ever get a publisher are the ones that actually don't need it, the ones that already choose themselves, the ones that already understand that regardless of what's happening, they're going to finish their game. Think about it. If you're able to make a vertical slice, a version of your game that everyone can see and understand what it's going to be about, and they're already excited, you're able to finish the rest of the game. If you're in a position where you don't even have that yet, then why would a publisher even bother? The first thing you need to understand is that you're capable of much more than you think. You just need to have the right strategy. Once you have a strategy that you can use from the beginning all the way to release, to have more possibilities of making your game successful, then you can have more confidence on yourself. Choose yourself. Make it in a way so people can see that confidence in the game. And then with that, you have more possibilities of getting a publisher, or you can just finish your game and be sustainable yourself. Watch this. It's a part of a talk I gave at Indie Treff last week, where I talk about the strategy you need from the beginning of your game all the way to release that raises the possibilities of success. With something like that, you can start your path of sustainability. And then, regardless if you get a publisher or not, you're still going to be able to finish your games and continue making games for as long as you want. I identified 6 stages and the decisions that studios make on each one of these stages that raise these possibilities. I'm going to go one by one. Now, if you're making a game right now and you identify your game as in one of these stages and you believe you miss a point from a stage from before, don't try to go backwards. Focus on the stage you are right now. Try to solve the problems during that stage and continue your way to release. That's always going to be better than going backwards. With that said, the first one is the idea and the core vision. This is when you make the brainstorm of your game. All the ideas are possible, no restrictions. Just think about everything you want that game to have. Once you have that big list, you're going to identify what is that core idea that you can easily communicate to the player. And from that idea, you're going to build the game around it. Everything that's not part of the idea, you're going to cut it away. This way, you're going to understand from the beginning how to cut smartly. And that way, you're not going to be making your game exponentially more complicated during the whole process. Once you have that, you start making the prototype. A quick and dirty prototype. No fancy code, no fancy art. Just a way to communicate to the player the experience you want to show them. I understand that some games might need fancy art to actually show that experience. For example, if it's a narrative game, you can always do that with the art from someone else, even if it's copyrighted, because this is not going to be monetized. It's just to prove the idea. Once you have that prototype, we go to the phase of validation. And here, there's something very important. Your small group of friends and your mom are not enough to say the game is good enough. You need to have much more people playing it. You have to go to events like this one, where people can try your game. You can make your own events. You can invite your wider group of friends to play some games and also show yours. And then, don't focus only on what they write or what they tell you, but also look at how they're playing the game. If they're interested, if they really like what they're playing, if you see that they want to play again. And then you can say, I can see the fun in this game. Not, I'm in love with my game and I don't care what anybody says. I got an argument for everything they said, so I'm still going to make it. No. When people really like the game, then you know it's allowed to exist. then you can commit to making a vertical slice. A vertical slice is, from the whole game, a sneak peek that shows exactly how the game is going to be. It's a promise you're giving to your team and to the players that whenever they play that version of the game, that's exactly what they're going to have in a bigger version later. So that means now you need a production system. Now you need a really well-made code, all the graphics, everything in building blocks that you can then use and reproduce to make the rest of the game. That way, you're not only going to keep your promise, but you're also going to be able to predict easier how much the rest of the game is going to take. This is the time when you start doing your marketing, when you open your store, where you start a community. One of the biggest predictors of success in a game is how much the community engage with the game. So a Discord channel is really important. And in this time, you also get all that feedback. You get to know exactly the most important bugs, the most important things that people actually like and don't like from the game. And with all that data together, now you can focus on the full production of the game. Now, in the production of the game, since you already have a community, you already know exactly what you're going to do, and you know how much it's going to take you, that's also the best moment to start reaching out to publishers and investment. However, even if you don't get that investment, you still have to focus on finishing the game. Because in the end, unfortunately, only about 5% of all studios ever get a publisher. And most of those that actually do are the ones that don't need it, are the ones that know exactly what they're going to do and they just need the push to finish the game as an acceleration. So focus on finishing the game anyways. If you manage to make the vertical slice already, you're going to be able to finish the game. And since you already know you're going to finish, now you can start the ideation of the next game. Because this is not your masterpiece. This is just a little part of your master plan of being sustainable. And then you go and release your game. You celebrate. You take note of everything you learn from that game. And you go and make the prototype of the next one. This is all the stages and the best way you can raise the possibilities of succeeding on each one of your games. And that way is how we engineer independence. We just have to stay in the game long enough to win. Talent starts games, but structure finishes them. Thank you.